Alright, here we go. I'm going to be finishing this up. Just in case anybody's here with me. Hello, I'm Will, also known as Xidoraven. Last time on the stream, I started this Phoenix image on a slightly peachish pinkish paper. It is oil pastel and colored pencil, and I started it last time. I'm going to finish it up now, hopefully. All goes well. And it's 6:30 Eastern time, so if I'm lucky, maybe I'll finish this up by 8:30 my time. In case you're wondering, I am using just some vegetable oil. It's a mix of olive oil and canola oil to just loosen up some of this oil pastel as I'm moving it around on the page. It also gives a slightly darker tint to the paper underneath. But not much. It's really subtle. In case you're watching something like this for the first time, Twitch, which is a live streaming channel, I think it was originally made just for gamers, like video game players, but it's been opening up a lot recently to creative stuff and gaming talk shows and all sorts of interesting variety kind of stuff. So in that spirit, we're doing creative. Okay. Welcome, thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this live, great, and if you're watching it on YouTube in the archives, which it will be very soon, great. You can always jump over to twitch.tv/Xidoraven, Xidoraven, Xidoraven, however you say it. So I'm not going to do any of the colors that I did the first time, except for some really rich highlight colors on the artifact. But before I get into that, I want to. So I already used this once, but. Oh yeah, see, now it's just moving around on the page, and that's really fun. So, and I don't usually work with oil pastels. Usually I'm doing digital stuff, but I want to make sure that I use as many of these art supplies that I have available as I can before I pack them up. And as I said last time on the stream, I'm trying to raise some funds in order to move my stuff. I'm already moved. I'll be there. The August 15th through the 17th, I will be on my way. Looks like I've got not all that great of connection on two things, but I also don't see it trying to reset on me, so I'm going to keep going. All right. So I've laid down a little extra oil on the page, and that's really cool because it's moving everything around. Nothing's gonna stick to this page, which is great. Okay. I've also avoided dark colors except in the object, the artifact. And I did put some dark greens, I think, in there. But now that I've got a little extra, if I did, I don't remember, because it doesn't look like it. So what I like to do is basically anything relating to gaming, fantasy, sci-fi gaming. I like to create content. For role-playing games, I have a tendency to create stuff that I would call cross-genre. That is that it's not quite fantasy, not quite sci-fi, but maybe a little something in between, or even going into some areas that some gamers, think don't really fit every game style. Ooh, speaking of, for those of you who may be at Gen Con and receiving your Horror Adventures hardcover from Paizo, I received mine in the mail kind of early, which was great because it was really exciting to just page through it. It's a great book, no doubt about it. Great book. And if you're not really into that sort of thing, that's fine, but it's got a lot of really cool options that I know I will be employing in my games. So, let's see, what was the original inspiration for this? I was trying to think of this last time, too. I think, essentially, I just wanted to do something that was very colorful, and so decided that I would do, I can show the original, the first draft of this. I can show that a little bit later. But it wasn't what I wanted. It doesn't look how I was hoping it would look, and the media was just not quite right. So rather than redo it on the board, which I do plan on doing, I decided to redo it as a separate image. And I'm going to be gifting this to Judy. However, I could be swayed to send the original of this. Anybody who donates $150 or more to my GoFundMe page, and I'll put a link in that before I shut this all down. I'll put a whole raffle together. My connection is horrible right now on both ends, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. All right. So the goal is to try and use each and every one of these colors. Some colors don't need to be used as much as the others, and I've been holding off on the dark colors for the most part. And this dark brown is going to weigh really heavy on this. So use it sparingly and wisely. I'm actually going to go over this whole thing with a little bit of oil on this bit too, because I want it to really I want all those colors to really merge together. See, there's my connection. I knew it would happen. That's all right. We will archive this on YouTube. It will be there. The other thing that's going to be really great is that I'm on my bus/train trip. I'm not entirely sure if it's a bus or a train. I thought it was a bus, but as Justin pointed out, it does say train on the ticket. So we'll see. It doesn't really matter as long as I get there. I've already paid it. So like I was saying before, you can see where there's spots where the colored pencil adhered to the paper a lot stronger than the rest of it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do a different color, so we don't want to use the same bright color side that we did before. That's my computer telling me, I can't handle this! Not really true. It can handle the video. It's the connection. If it drops even for a little bit, it has a hard time with that. But that's alright. We'll persevere. At the very least, as I attempt to live stream, I am creating essentially a copy of the video. So that's the one that I end up uploading to YouTube anyways. So here we go. I like it. I like that nasty gritty look to it. That's kind of fun. Yeah, I'm doing. I know. I'm sorry, internet connection. I often say I believe in you, but it's not really true, and we both know it. Okay, I like that. And now that I've got some of that nasty dark color, I'm going to spread some of that up here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we totally needed that. We absolutely 100% needed that. Now I'm not certain that it's making this look any better, but like I said before, I'm gonna go over this in layers and layers and layers, and it's gonna be movement oriented. Movement is what we're going for. Great. That's exactly what I was going for too. Just movement, lots and lots and lots of movement. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be on the page. Because then once I've got all of that down with the really sloppy all over the place stuff, I'll give it a lot of texture with this palette knife that I'll use to just cut into the oil. In fact, I'll do that right now because I want to make sure that I really give some of these lines a lot of scratch. The look of the scratch. And so the look of the scratch actually is because the oil and the colored pencil, which is wax-based, allow the oil pastel to really move around on top of the page. And so as you scratch little portions of that, some of it slips around and some of it stays because of the colored pencil. It's alright. YouTube will learn. YouTube will learn. Twitch will not be able to learn right now, but YouTube will learn. What does he mean? I mean that at some point it will get up onto the internet, and you will all see it. It will be lovely. Okay, so I totally messed up a little bit, but the beauty here is I can still scratch a lot of that up and move it to another spot where that darker green color actually is going to we actually want it. So say move it down here because actually good. Okay, the other thing, scratch along the line. Yeah. Scratch along the line. All right, I'm gonna go back in here. The other thing that's really nice about this is once you do this and let that oil pastel dry, it's going to really have a lot of extra texture that you wouldn't have if you only did this in one pass. Which ultimately means that maybe I might not finish this tonight, but I will attempt it. I will attempt to finish this tonight. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. See, and that's great. That's exactly what I wanted. Just that weird, crazy, erratic feeling. Because that's exactly the feeling I wanted for it. It was a very natural movement, organic look. Okay, so we've got the dark greens down. We need to let that dry just a little bit more before I throw any extra color on there. And I should do it as the bright green, then the yellow, then the white. Okay. And, oh, we never did finish off that. Actually, that would be a good idea to do that. Because we want all of that to just move around. We don't want it to stick in one spot. And so what am I actually doing here? I'm sort of just scratching lines into the color is really all it is, because it provides just a little extra texture when you're seeing the other colors sort of mingle in between them. But it also makes it so that the wings look like they have an idea of feathers, an idea of feather texture. because I don't want to sit and draw the texture of each and every feather. Instead, you imply the texture. Yay, perfect. Yay, it's the best spot for it. Okay, so now we've gotten to the spot where I do want to fill in just a little bit more of these sort of pinkish spots where the paper is really showing through, but I don't really want all that much traction drawn to it. Okay, so I've done more than enough of this darker yellowish orange. So let's see how this works. Perfect. That oil on the oil pastel really allows it to not really adhere to the page quite so much. That's actually perfect. It doesn't overwhelm the paper. Awesome. Plus, using this bright color in order to build up the other colors is going to make the other ones really brighten up a lot more. The other hues that are used in here. Some of these darker red. In fact, I should really build up some of the brightness over here. See, that's the computer saying, "Oh, I thought we had a decent connection." Yep. Until you started trying to do things. That's all right. There will be internet on the trip. Cool. That's great. That's exactly. Ooh-wee. Brighten that up just a little bit too, because it is supposed to be reflecting light over here, so. Cool. Okay. We've done all the bright colors. We've done the dark colors that we need over here. Let's get into that background a little bit. So, let's do this. see. See, and now my connection actually shows really well on the stream and on the Discord audio, so whatever, it's cool. It works. We'll get there. We'll get there. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the outline of the phoenix with the white oil pastel, not color pencil. So I want it to move. I don't want it to stick. And what that will do is highlight the outline, make it look like it's a little more glowy. Yay, glowy! And it's also going to provide a little bit of extra oil pastel to move around up into the other zone. So I need to be real careful with how much I use these dark colors. I think what I may do is use the magenta color to pull out some of those brighter tones in the background. The other thing I'm going to do here is just put a little bit of the blue down into the spots where I want it to appear like it's a little bit backlit, because my blue is going to be my backlight color. And there doesn't need to be a lot of it. In fact, I may have slightly overdone it. But that's alright! Ooh, also, I totally missed this one over here, and that's okay because the heat on this one, let's see, let's think about that. Okay, well it can't be blue, so. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use a different corner of this. Yeah, I'll have to go back over this with color pencil again to really put some more of those details back in, which is not really a problem. I knew this was going to be sort of a multi-layered thing. Yeah, good idea. Good idea. That way that bottom corner isn't overwhelming, but it still kind of stands out with a little extra color. Okay, so actually, because I took a lot of that out, I'm going to draw back in there with just a little bit more. I'm also going to add in a little more vertical line. And hopefully I won't completely get rid of those next time. Yeah, and what I'll do is to try and balance that sort of overwhelming blue, because it's just a little overwhelming. Um, I'll balance that out with a little other color back there to kind of uh, make it feel like it's a little less in your face. Okay. The other thing is, now that I've done all that, and in fact, I'll show you what the back side of this looks like. Kind of gives you an idea of how much oil I'll throw on there in order to get it to move around. The other thing now is I've got a lot of the larger moving shapes, and so now I kind of want to bring out some of the other spots where I really want the detail to stand out. So some of those were in the face, and I want those to be really subtle. So when I say really subtle, I mean as subtle as I can get. Okay, so first things first. We know we want... Oh, yep, see, that's not going to let any of that in here. Okay. Yeah, and what that will actually do is not so much delineate those spots as allow the other spots to be a little more. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. Okay. Also, yeah, because that oil is really thick on there, and it is not going to let me. It's not going to let me do that. Okay. Do what we can in the spots that we have. The other thing I can do is use it to clean up the outside edges to make those edges look a little bit harder, because it's not actually laying down a lot of color right now. Almost no color. I think it's just allowing that oil to really move around. Oil moving around is to use it. It makes a lot of sort of fake texture, and that's I like it. Fake texture is good by me. Okay, it also globs up on top of your wax pencil, because colored pencil is wax based. So do that, get the gloppy cruddy stuff off of it. Also, I have some paper or some towels here, some paper towels. They're not paper. Some towels here to be able to rub my fingers off. All right. Here we go. This dark blue is really dark. Luckily, there is oil all over this down here. and kind of up here too. Although not as much. Not as clingy. Ooh, we can also do this. Maybe just a little bit of this here. Get the illusion of shadow with a little bit of blue. Actually, yeah, because the oil is really sloppy. It lets it move around a lot more, so it's not really sticking to it quite as bad. Actually, since I did it on that side, I want to make sure I do a little bit on that side as well, because this corner down here is really, it feels like the wing is just merging into the corner, and we want to give it at least a little bit of something that's not like that. And the best place for that is on the edge of the wing here. Actually, it's kind of cool because there's so much oil on it. It's just, it's not really, it doesn't look like what you'd expect it, even with it being as dark as it is. I'm overdoing it a little bit, but that's all right because I'm gonna balance that out one more time. Okay. All right. So. In case you're wondering, we are listening to the Fixed station. Fixed, F-I-X-T, being the record label that's Cell Dweller and Blue Stolly and some others. Mostly big thing is Cell Dweller, Scandroid, Circle of Dust. That's what's important. God, it's so messy and wonderful. It really is. It's like the messier it is, the more fun it is. Okay. I'm so glad I just did this. Awesome. Yeah, and do a little upward motion, vertical lines. So over here, we're gonna do a little bit of curvy. Perfect. All right, we have done white, we have done this, we've done that, we've done that, we've done that, we did that. Okay, back to the darkest colors of all. Now, I need to get a highlight color down on this, but it's so wet right now with oil that I can't actually do that. But I can think about it and think about what colors I would put in there. The other thing is by working this dark brown into that blue, hopefully I'll be able to mute that out just a little bit more than it is. Because right now that blue is so overwhelming over here. Okay. Okay, yeah, and those colors really start to work into each other. All right. Probably just a little too much purple. We can go back to the dark blue. It's actually, this blue is very much, it has a purple of its own. A little bit of a, it's not quite blue. It's definitely a little bit purple. And, oh, and black. Yeah, actually the black will, yeah, let's make black very last. Because we don't want it to overkill. And it could be very difficult, so. Yeah, and this white will also, as you use it on top of the other colors, the white will also help blend a little bit without really adhering a whole bunch of color to it, which is great. And a lot of that is because of all the oil that I used. Yeah, in many ways this is just sort of highlighting some of the other colors and moving them around a little bit. Okay. All right. Oh, I should probably get rid of some of that yakishness. What is left? Really, it's the highlights, which I was not able to put down with the color pencil because it definitely keeps the keeps the colored pencil from adhering to the page almost as much as the oil pastel. You have to really press into it, and even then it's not. It's just removing a lot of the oil pastel on top. So avoiding that, oh my goodness, and yeah, we're totally not going to overdo this. Because exactly that reason. Because it's going to go over top of the light color and be so visible that it burns. It burns. Luckily, we can just scratch it out of existence. Pretend like it never even existed. Okay. Just like that. It's so hard to get those to not look like crap when they're right next to each other. It's very difficult, believe it or not. Okay, that's better. That's glowy. Yay, glowy! This time I'm not going to get quite as close. Okay, we definitely want some darkness back here. We want just a tiny bit here. Wow, yeah, this black is so dark. That's okay because we are going to do one more pass with a bright color because that dark is really dark. Those dark colors are so dark and almost overwhelming. And I'm not sure that there's any other way that I can darken that without, actually maybe just a little bit of this brown and some I think we can do that. All right. Brightest colors last. Why? Because that's how you make those highlights. And you only want them on the spots that you want them. Throwing them in random places. You're throwing them on the highlight zones. Highlight zones. It's sort of like the Twilight Zone, but with brightness. in this case, this is really supposed to be expressive anyways. It's not meant to be photorealistic. But this artifact is like super glowy, and there's lots of stuff going on in it, and you know, you can't expect every detail to look exactly like a real object. It's expressive. Yay for expressive. Okay, I think I'm gonna call that good. Excuse me. Let me just show you what we've got, because it's kind of difficult to see from your angle. But basically, the phoenix itself is very much orange, yellow, with a little bit of some darker red. Also a little bit of magenta worked into the body, and then some magenta and some blues up into the background, and a little bit of those blues down into the object. I'm going to call it an artifact. I mean, it's from a story, but it's supposed to look like a big mass of roots and the or tendril, you know, plant tendril root things, and surrounding an object in the middle. And the object in the middle is like an acorn or a heart mixed in together, but I'm not going to be able to see that in this. And so just to show you the back side of this, I mean, because I didn't put any color on the back side of this, but as you can see, the oil really comes through, and it makes a difference. And so I will let that dry out. The colors, I mean, you really can't tell on there, but the colors are actually really nice. Whoa. Yeah, the colors are really nice. I'll do a scan of it after it's dried up a little bit. And I think that also means that I am essentially done here. You know what? I'm going to do, I was thinking about this earlier. I am going to do some quick erratic lines right above the wings to kind of look like the flames are flickering up from the wings. And that's not going to take very much, especially because this seems to be going down really well. This color definitely is like, yeah. Cool. That looks way cool. And actually, because I kind of want the colors to meld a little bit better, I'm going to drop some of this dark color down into the bottom. Same kind of concept. I'm not going for photorealism. Just to make it kind of blend together into the page a little better. Yeah. Oh, that's exactly it. Okay. Yeah, and then I'll come back through with some highlights with the colored pencil. In fact, oh yeah, no, too much oil. Good idea, in theory. Well, because that oil right there is like super thick. Super thick. You're not getting through that, buddy. Cool. Okay, yeah, last highlight color. No, yeah, ooh, yeah, because I never really did thick yellow, so okay. Yeah, because we already did the white. We already did that. The green didn't work out too well, but let's try one more time. Nope, pretty much the same. Okay. So one more highlight, and let's see if we can actually get this to highlight. Almost nothing. Almost can't even see it. Okay, so let's call it on it. Actually, let's put just a little bit of color into the eye, just so that I can kind of bring the eye out. That's the one feature that actually this whole beak area. Bring out some of those features that kind of fall into the background a little bit. That is exactly what I wanted. Something that just gives a good contrast and blends it out without overwhelming it. That's really great. That is exactly what I wanted. Nice. Okay, so there's a lot of like little crumbly bits, but they're pretty detached from the page. So I'm just gonna like carefully brush them to the side without pressing them into the paper. There is a lot of them. And if you don't get them now, especially when I go to put some fixative on this, they can end up really creating some issues, and it could look really funky. Funky in a not good way. actually on the artifact, it would be funky in a good way. So that's why I'm just pressing lightly, because you can only do it so hard before you start messing up the artwork. But I think we're good. A little bit down here. Okay. So, I'm going to try and do as much of a close-up here as I can. And I will scan that in. Yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell on the colors, but I'll scan it in. There we go. That's the finished piece. I'm going to take the black and color pencil. And that's how I'll mark it. We'll do it down over here. There we go. And that's finished. That's a finished Phoenix. I'll scan that in now, and wow, we did that in an hour. I was thinking it was going to take longer than 2 hours, and we totally did that in an hour. Awesome. It's because I was trying to work fast. I don't want to overdo it, because I got to pack all the art stuff up. And I don't want to take too long fixating on making something perfect when there is no such thing as perfection. And so yeah. Actually, here's an idea. Haha. If there's no oil, you cannot resist. Cool. All right, I'm gonna stop the stream here. Thanks to anybody who is watching. I will upload this very soon onto YouTube, and at 9 o'clock here on Hyper RPG, there's gonna be a special role-playing game, Mecha versus Kaiju, that I'll be watching, and that's the plan. All right. I'm really excited that we finished this. Sorry I'm in ridiculous clothes, but it's hot, okay? So, it's hot. Muggy, muggy, muggy hot. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to make sure that I say on this. So, anybody who donates to my GoFundMe page, that includes the people who have donated already, since the last time when I discussed this. $15 gives you one entry into the raffle for these sketches, being these and these, and $150 or more puts you in the running for this bad boy if it's done before I move. And so that's the other thing, is I have to have all this stuff done before my bus leaves on the 15th. So I will send it out in the mail, hopefully the Friday prior, the 12th. Right? Yeah, 13th, 14th, 15th. Yeah. So hopefully I'll get that stuff out by the 12th. We'll say that the 12th is we'll say the 11th is the cutoff date. That's the cutoff date, is the 11th at midnight. And then if multiple people donate $150 or more, I will consider cutting up the sketches and mailing them off separately in a raffle. In other words, so like this one has 4 sketches on a single thing, and so does this one, 4 sketches on a single page. So if we get enough people who donate to this thing, I will totally cut those up and raffle each and every one. I will, because I'm crazy like that. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. It's not like I need more work before I leave, but you gotta do something, right? So there we go, just to give you one more shot at this. This is the This is the final piece. Actually really nice. Especially after it dries out, because that oil is real wet. I mean, you can see the oil is pretty thick. See? That's what happens. That's what happens when your connection isn't all that great. So, I'm going to stop the stream here really shortly. Oh yeah, it's got all sorts of milk around the outside now. I like it. You know you did a good job when it's all messy. Yep, totally lost my connection. It's cool. I will upload this to YouTube. We can enjoy it after the fact. It'll be great. Plus, after I scan this in, you'll see the colors a lot better. It's really nice. It's actually really cool. Ooh, the GoFundMe page. I can put that in. That'll be the last thing I do before I shut this off, so I'll put that in the chat. Thanks for joining me, everybody. It was so kind of you. I'm going to move this over to the side because I need to be able to do stuff. All right. So, take this down for just a moment. And this over here. That's the GoFundMe link. Please consider donating, or at least share the link with other people. And hopefully I'll get everything, worked out. Hopefully. We'll see how that works. Well, my connection sucks. Here, what if I disconnect from Discord? That may make it a little easier for other folks. Possibly. It's also possible that it will do absolutely nothing. But it's okay. Everything is fine. Everything is just fine. As everything is like, no, nothing works. Okay, fine. Alright, so that was the GoFundMe and everything. I did everything right. Yay. Alright, thank you for joining me. I'm Will, also known as Xidoraven. I'm really glad that I got to finish this up in such quick time. And, heck with it. It's not like it's actually streaming right now anyways. There is no connection. Nothing works. Nothing works. Things worked. So, okay. What was I thinking? I was actually thinking of actually telling you real stuff. Oh, so the other day I was putting down some notes for myself I want to do full reviews of the hardcover books from Paizo Pathfinder, Occult Adventures, Horror Adventures, and Ultimate Intrigue. I'm going to do a full review of all of those books because they're very new-ish, and I've seen what I feel is ridiculousness being said about them when they're very helpful. They're not unhelpful. They're not book bloat or whatever that is. Whatever that may be. They're not. They're useful and helpful. And so I'm going to do a full review of those. I'll probably do, I don't know, I might do this later tonight. I might do it some other time over the weekend, or possibly, oh no, I have to do it before I leave. I'm going to read through a whole bunch of stuff that I've got. I want to do a whole thing on Hell and Asmodeus because there's so much good stuff. And I've got some information that I want to make sure that I read off in a video that is going to be used to back up Serpent Skull. the campaign. You know what's really funny is the connection's actually really decent right now. The other campaign I'd like to do at some point would be Iron Gods, and the more I think about those things, the more I think that I want to open them up to the community so that they're so that we do them in a really interesting and creative way. Because doing things the normal way, the boring way, is incredibly difficult and ends up not being all that great. But if I could have enough people to show up and just watch a stream of a game that the community actually keeps the player characters moving forward, I think that might actually work. Maybe, you know, it's worth a shot. It's not like anybody else is trying it, so. That's not true. I mean, Hyper RPG has inspired me to try and do things more interactively. I used to run a whole bunch of stuff on a site called elfton.com. It's still up. It's still there. Not very popular these days. In fact, it's pretty much dead quiet. That said, I was able to organize a whole bunch of people at that time to do role-playing game stuff in the wiki. It's like Xidoraven. That's it. I'm gonna call it quits. Thanks for joining me. Have a good one.